Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So today I figured I'd start right where I guess I have been building and just kind of show you a little update on the factory. I'm not for sure if you guys love me doing multiple builds of the same thing in a row. Like this factory, I think this is like the third episode, but I don't know. I've really been I've had so much fun building this factory, and I just don't want to stop until it's completely finished. So I just keep adding more to it, and I just keep getting more ideas as I go. Like half this stuff, well, I'll show you here in a second on the other side of the factory, but half the stuff I didn't plan on adding in from the beginning, but I just, every time I build something, I'm like, oh, wouldn't this be cool to add? So I just go ahead and add it, and it makes this build take longer. But hopefully you guys appreciate that, and I promise that not this episode, but the one after this will be the last one in the factory. But with that being said, hopefully you enjoyed these builds today. But I figured I would work on the docks to start with. So as you know, this factory creates explosives, creates TNT, and so it is fueled by coal, of course. And how do they get this coal in? Well, they import it, and that's exactly what's going on here. So this is where the ships would come in, obviously at the docks here, but we've got a section of like coal and all that stuff here where it's been offloaded, just some random crates, and then some brick that's being stored here as well for like building the actual factory and things I need to add in. And so because this is here, we have to transport it into the different areas, and so that's exactly what this is. So we've got kind of like a rail system coming up here and getting anything that needs imported in. So it'll be loaded onto here in these mine carts, and it'll take it throughout this kind of side area of the factory. So different things other than coal and bricks are brought in. So like this redstone, it's being brought in, and so it goes through here, and then it'll turn at this junction track, come underneath these stairs, and it'll pile up here. Same thing for the hay. It's brought over through here, and then the different like wool and stuff, it's also brought in right here, or it's brought in through the cart, I guess. And so that's kind of a little bit of how this stuff moves about the factory, because you have to imagine that like a lot of this stuff is really heavy, and so you wouldn't want to just be like carrying it around. And this is before they had forklifts like you would use them in a modern factory. So in my version of what would happen in this world, they use minecarts to transport it. So that's kind of what that looks like. And then of course it goes from here right onto the actual conveyor belt where it's worked on throughout the factory. What is wrong with me? And so that's one section of the dock here, and then like this part, we kind of have like a little workshop area. So I imagine there'll be plenty of repairs and different things that need to be done out here. And so of course you got to have several of these like little repair facilities throughout the factory, and there's some inside and out. And I have this like little awning over here in case it's raining. Just some more miscellaneous storage and things, because of course docks, you have a lot of just random stuff laying around to trip on. This right here is pretty cool. So this is actually the outflow area for the TNT, and so it's created and it's fully done after this station, and it's transported out through here through a minecart. And I used to have it just ending here, but it didn't make much sense. So I decided to run it all the way out there, and eventually to the crane. But this area, because it's explosives, I feel like you would not just want anyone walking around like messing with the track. So you have to have ID badges to be able to go into these areas to work on the track or to mess with anything. And for some reason, I thought it would be cool to be able to walk under it instead of like going over it like I did over there, but walk under it. I mean, in real life, it wouldn't make much sense that you would have an area this close to the water, to the seawater, where you go underneath of it. But, you know, it's Minecraft. Sometimes you have to do that. So you have to have your ID badges to go in through these areas. But once you go in, this path leads all the way out to this crane. And so this crane, I love the design. It's sort of similar to my design for that crane over there, but this is what will load up the TNT over onto another ship. So you've got your import stuff coming in on that side, and then on this side you have your export items, and this crane can swing over here, so you could be loading up multiple ships at the same time. Right now it's just sitting in this area, but it just puts this like little platform down over here, and it'll load the TNT onto it from the train track, and it can swivel it around and do all that fun stuff. And so yeah, it looks pretty cool from out here. We've got kind of a stone backing because I feel like a crane this heavy wouldn't really set up on a wooden dock very well. But let's keep on going around, I suppose. And I haven't done anything on the other side of this dock yet because, yeah, I'm going to do that in the next episode when I work on this area under here. But on top of it, I did a lot of stuff. And this is one of the things that I hadn't planned on actually doing. But, you know, it happens. And so you can kind of see a little bit of stuff going on up there. But I really like this build. I think it looks cool and has some really neat theming to go with it. So we start out here on this path, and this is just a normal path through the woods. Of course, we've got Lunks lumber here, and thematically, like, this area is very rich in natural resources of lumber, of course. And so you use a lot of that. So in my theory, coal wouldn't be the only thing being used to power this factory. You would have an auxiliary kind of power system, which I guess could happen in a lot of factories where you're wanting to run around the clock. If you run out of something, then you might use the other. So like in a real life factory, for example, if you run off of electricity, then you might want to have like a gas generator or something like that to back up if you need to. But that's exactly what this is. This is the wood auxiliary power system that would power the factory. So here's just like a wood staging area that's collected from like Lunks lumber. They'll haul it over here with a cart, and it'll sit in this staging area, and it is loaded up onto this. So we'll have 4 wide chunks of logs, and they'll be loaded onto these like little switches, and you turn these on and it'll push it up. And we'll have mine carts come down here, and it loads it up this track and carries it up. Because keep in mind, these logs are super, super heavy. So in order to get them up this many blocks, even a crane, you would have to have such a massive crane. So in I guess, what I think physics-wise, that you'd be able to take it up through these like these little minecart tracks. And so it hauls it all the way up here, up to this second furnace. So you've got the coal furnace down below, but this is the wood furnace, and so it works the same way. You'll haul the wood into it, and it pushes this heat up through like a water layer up here, and it will turn into steam, and that steam will be used to power the factory. And then there's like a little shut-off valve for this down below, so that way you don't technically use it unless you need it, but if you ever run out of coal or something, then this can be turned on as an auxiliary power system, and you can power it through wood, which is pretty cool. And wood, like, it doesn't burn as hot as coal, so you could see why they would want to use the coal most of the time, but they can use the wood if you need to. And so we've just got kind of a little bit of wood stationed out here, another work like area to repair the stuff, some storage. But if you walk around back, you see like all this gray stuff. And so, in my mind, because this fire is not burning super hot, you'll have like a lot of soot and stuff left over. So you can pull these levers, and it'll push up this grate, and you can take like a shovel or something and shovel all of the, I guess, the ash and stuff like that, and the soot. And it just sits over in this kind of pile over here in the back. They need to clean it out, obviously, but I don't know. I think this is a super cool build. I really love it. You can go up here, you can see the pipe kind of coming in, and then it goes in down here, and then if you go in the factory, you can actually see it hook into the piping system and all that. But yeah, I really have enjoyed building this. This has been super fun, and you know, I'm sure you all kind of run into those times in Minecraft where it's a little tedious and boring and a grind, and that's part of it, but sometimes you just have an absolute blast building stuff. So I hope you guys can see that how much I enjoyed this and just how cool of a build it is, really. And there's several things that I still want to add to the factory, and I'm going to do that in the next episode, and I promise that will be the last one at the factory for a while. But I suppose it is that time to get into the lore reading. while we sit here and look at this wood burning. All right, here we go. So the red flag must once again return to its original roots. That is, the long ago foundation of this faction was based on technological discoveries in order to advance society, or rather help it. The group was once famed for their discovery of how to treat the zombie virus. Of course, they later weaponized it, but that, of course, is a natural side effect of these things. However, the new leader, Tuna Fleem, stumbled across a notebook several months ago. He has spent countless hours reading and deciphering it, the notebook being that of the original leader, Tibbert Shortlegs. The scientific genius he was managed to only create a small few of the designs he came up with. The rest were laid out methodically in his notebook. Tuna Fleem, however, was no such scientist, but he was not exactly a slouch when it came to the subject. Over the years of the 5120s, he would painstakingly learn and experiment with the late great Tibbert Shortlegs' work, in an effort to see the former leader's dreams realized. During this time, there was one such invention that stood out. In 5125, something profound happened. And that something profound we will get into in the next episode. But, we gotta draw it out, all this lore. Some pretty cool stuff. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this episode, and if you liked it, please leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more of these videos. I do one every week. So I will see you all next Saturday.